They're not trying to tell you the story. They're trying to tell you a story. There wasn't a lot of stuff going on this week on Spygate and, this weekend. Not a whole bunch of stuff, but I saw this one story, and many of you who are regular listeners know how much I have this love-hate relationship with the media on this. Love-hate because I love the independent journalists out there. And the people who work for like the Daily Caller, Chuck Ross and others, Jeff Carlson, again, great at the Epic Times, who have just nailed the story. Sarah Carter, Solomon, the list goes on and on. Hannity, of course, over at Fox, who've nailed the Spygate thing. But the love-hate part, the part I really have disdain for, are the media people on the inside who, despite the fact that the whole Spygate thing is falling apart on them in live time. Yes, there were spies. Yes, they were spying. The IG report proves it. All of this stuff. They're still clinging to the collusion hoax. One of the worst out there who has become a frequent target of my ire, not because I dislike her personally, don't know her, never met her, I don't care, she's probably very nice, doesn't matter to me at all, is Natasha Bertrand from Politico, who is always on the wrong side of this no matter what. I don't know if she's just easily pliable when it comes to like moving her in a narrative direction and at the deep state. You know what I'm saying, Joe? They feel like they can get her to do what she wants. I don't know why she keeps publishing ridiculous stories at Politico, despite, again, being one of these people on the inside of the media that was a known gaslighter, you know, with the collusion hoax and there were no spies. She's always on the wrong side. So she wrote this piece in Politico, and I just wanted to briefly cover this because remember this. Bertrand, Devlin Barrett, David Ignatius, whenever you see stories from them about Spygate, remember the axiomatic golden rule of the Dan Bongino show. They're not trying to tell you the story. They're trying to tell you a story. Not the facts. They're not trying to give you the fact. They're trying to tell you, and you always have to parse out what the story is. So I saw this gem this weekend from Natasha Bertrand at Politico. Intel probe puts CIA's Gina Haspel, she's the CIA director, in a bind. Subtitle: The review, led by U.S. Attorney John Durham, is making life uncomfortable for America's cautious spy chief. Now, listen to me. What's really going on with this story? But again, what story is she trying to tell you, Joseph, on behalf of the deep staters who are getting very worried now that the IG report is out, shows there was spying, contrary to the liberal narrative, and a lot of it, by the way, on the Trump campaign. And now that the Durham investigation is at its tail end and is likely to come out in the spring of 2020, which is looking into the whole Spygate thing and is now a criminal probe. So she goes, I'm going to put a screenshot up from this in a bit, but before I get to, it's about Ms. Subin, before I get to that, the whole 3 or 4 initial paragraphs, and without reading through the whole thing, so I don't want to spend too much time on this, is this. Well, you know, this U.S. Attorney Durham, working on behalf of the Attorney General, has turned this into a criminal probe, Joe. He's looking into this CIA stuff, and, you know, the CIA, they were just doing their job here, and come on. I mean, are we really going to start questioning them? Because, Joe, if we do, national security might be at risk because the CIA folks, right? Here we go. They might be hesitant in the future, Joe, to do their job. So this is really bad for the country. I'm reading this like, okay, what's the story she's trying to tell you? Because it's not the actual story.
Right.
The story and narrative she wants out there is that if Durham keeps looking into this, Joe, we could damage national security because their intelligence people will be afraid of doing their job. In other words, Joe, what? You better back off.
Yes.
In other words, what else? The media, we're watching you. We're watching you, Durham, and if you go after the CIA people who got everything wrong, we're going to make personal attacks on you, suggesting it's you that are damaging national security. I took another note here because I didn't want you to forget. Remember my Devin Nunes interview with Congressman Nunes on my channel here, which I strongly encourage you to listen to. It's going to maybe our most listened to ever by the time the next week is done. YouTube.com/Bongino if you want to check it out. What did Congressman Nunes say on our interview? During the end of the interview, he was crystal clear that there was no official intelligence used to open up this case against Donald Trump. Folks, why is Natasha Bertrand, alleged journalist, media co-conspirator here? Why is she not even remotely interested in asking those questions? Wait. Natasha, very simple. If you write a piece on this, I will promote it for you. I promise. Try doing journalism just for once. Are you not even remotely curious why an investigation we now know was bedrocked in the dossier? The IG report is clear. The dossier was the principal focus of the warrant to spy on Trump. That we know, with it, no serious person disputes John Brennan knew about now, was used to spy on a presidential campaign and a president, by the way, afterwards. Their operation, that discontinued into the team and the team surrounding Trump, into the Trump presidency. And it was all started with no official intelligence, and yet you're defending the people at the upper echelons in the CIA involved in this with your piece? None of those things even remotely concern you as a journalist. Now, if that was spying on Barack Obama, you'd be concerned, because you're a hack, of course. You're a liberal hack. You don't really do in journalism.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show. You can also get Dan's podcasts on iTunes or SoundCloud. And follow Dan on Twitter 24/7 @DBongino.